Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to show you today how to make delicious homemade egg tarts. This is my daughter's favorite recipe for breakfast and we always prepare the night before to be ready to bring for meal break for school. So let's get started. First, let's prepare some unsalted butter, and we use unsalted so we can control the amount of salt. You can use salted too, but remember to remove the salt later if you do so. So let's use some icing sugar, just 2 tablespoons. Icing sugar tends to be a bit lumpy, so we sieve it to get a smooth texture. We're going to put them together, icing sugar and butter, and we're gonna cream them later. Now let's prepare the eggs. You will need 2 egg yolk and 1 egg white for the tart. You can refrigerate the egg white separately and use it some other time for other cookies or for your facial maybe. But let's weigh the other ingredients for the tarts now. Let's start with the flour. Let's put in a little bit of salt, just about a 1/4 teaspoon. This is because we were using unsalted butter just now. Give them a good whisk so that the flour and the salt are just well mixed, and set it aside. So let's blend the butter and the sugar together first for about 5 minutes until it's really smooth. Make sure you use a butter that's slightly softened and at room temperature, and we can start low and then high for about 5 minutes. You can stop in between to double check and scrape the bottom. Some of the butter or the sugar may not be well blended right at the bottom, so make sure to do this step. Switch to medium-low again, and then just pour the eggs that we've prepared just now, 2 egg yolks and 1 egg white, and let it blend again for a short while. Do remember to scrape the bottom to make sure everything is evenly mixed. Now that it's evenly mixed, let's pour a little bit of the flour, maybe a 1/4 or a 1/3 at a time, and remember to use the lowest speed of the mixer, and then just continue to add on the remaining batch slowly. So just make sure that they are just well blended. There's no need to over mix this flour at this point. Once they are good to go, they should form a nice ball, and all of them will stick together, similar to how we make Nutella tarts as well. It's always good to always scrape the bottom of the bowl. There will definitely be some remaining flour that's not well mixed, so ensure you don't skip this step as well. See, it's ready when it forms like a ball, and let's prepare cling wrap and refrigerate this tart dough. To flatten them this way so that it will be easier later to roll them out when they are ready. So let's refrigerate for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, let's take it out and prepare your tart molds. This is what I have. And this is the slip pad that I prepare, and some of you advise to use 2 chopsticks as a measuring, so I've also placed 2 chopsticks to try to help me guide me as I roll. So it's a good idea, because for this tart, for us, I do not like it to be too thick, or rather my family doesn't like too thick. It must have a lot of custard fillings, so a very thin 2 millimeters will do in terms of thickness of the dough. So it's really up to you, and the beauty of making these egg tarts from home, from scratch, is that you can adjust it to however you like it. Some of you may like more crust, some of you may like more filling. Yeah, and definitely my family love a little bit more filling compared to the crust. There are definitely a couple of ways to do the tarts. You can use the cookie cutter method like me. You have either a bigger or a smaller cookie cutter, so long as it's bigger than your tart mold. And you can cut them into shapes like this, and then you can then lift them up and make into tarts. This is the way I do it, but there's definitely another way that I sometimes do, is to roll each one into ball and measure the weight accordingly for each tart. But I find that this is simpler this way and more consistent in terms of thickness and all. And this is how I do it. Firstly, you press it into the mold, and then you make sure that you just use your fingers to go around, and you can then trim off the excess by using knife. And this is when you use a very or slightly bigger mold or cookie cutter than the tart. Now I'm going to show you another cookie cutter that is a little bit smaller, and I think I prefer the smaller one after trying or using two of the big ones. You can see that you can also push down to the center easily. We don't have that much excess compared to the bigger cookie cutter, so this would be a good size. Never use any cookies cutter that's the same size as your tart mold or smaller than your tart mold, then it will be really very difficult to mold, or I would say more time consuming. So just keep repeating the same process and make sure you have used up all the dough. You can always roll it up again and then roll the dough again until you're done. Keep them refrigerated again, and let's prepare part 2, the custard, while waiting for the tarts in the fridge. We're not using condensed milk in this recipe. As such, we're using sugar, and the sugar that I use is about 120 grams. If you like sweeter, you can add more. If you like less sweet, then you can reduce the sugar. It's entirely up to you. And then let's prepare some warm water to mix together with the sugar. Let's add some milk, and over here we're gonna add the eggs as well, 4 of them, and this is the one that makes it delicious, the fresh milk and the egg, and we'll later whisk them together with the sugar solution that we have just now. Once the sugar solution are mixed with the egg solution and milk, now we want to sieve them. Make sure we sieve at least twice so that it will be very smooth custard that you have from here. take out the tarts from the fridge and let's pour the custard into the tart shells. And meanwhile, you can also start your oven to preheat them while pouring all this custard into the tarts. They look pretty. I have all 21 egg tarts all together and it's so yummy. The kids love this the most. So thank you so much for watching and please subscribe for more videos. Thank you everyone.